Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Christina here with another flip through. It's not quite an unboxing because I have already opened this and looked at the cards. Here we have Starman Tarot from Lo Scarabeo by David Angelis, I'm not 100% sure. It says inspired by the artworks he created for David Bowie. So this is because they did know each other. They did work together in the 90s, in particular on the Earthling and the Outside album. And if you are a fan and you know this phase of David's career, it's really obvious that that's sort of what they worked on together, because this art is very 90s Bowie, very much that. So I am a big fan of David Bowie, and that is putting it lightly. So I asked for this for my birthday back in June, and I didn't use it. I, of course, flipped through it many times since, but I never used it because I wanted to save it for David Bowie's birthday, which was yesterday. Yesterday, I did try to film this video, but I was just staring at the cards and not saying much, and it just didn't make a very interesting video. So I'm going to try again today and try to be less of a fangirl and more of a, you know, deck walkthrough reviewer. I don't know. I want to show you the deck. I feel like this isn't talked about enough. So here we go. Let's get into it. Starman Tarot. There were 3 versions as far as I know. There was a big sort of collector's edition that was numbered. I don't have that because I didn't know about it back then. Or believe me, I would have it. There's a smaller version, and then this is sort of, I guess, the medium version. So it comes in this really cool box where this slides out. You can get all of this on Amazon. And if you do get the smaller version, you don't get as big of a guidebook. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted the larger deck. You can get this matching silk bag, which I just had to have. I do love when my decks live in a bag. I usually don't keep them in the box if they have a bag. I usually put them on my shelf in their bag, but I just wanted to keep all of this together because I just love it so much. Ooh, here are the backs. So what you're seeing here is supposed to be some sort of alien language. Now this deck does not come edged. I edged mine in a hot pink sort of fuchsia here. It could use another go over, I guess, because it's faded on some of them. Anyways, so pop the book out here. It's not hardcover, but this is not flimsy cardboard. And then we've got full color pages in here. So if you open it up, you get the title of the card and an affirmation. So for the High Priestess, it's I offer up the mysteries of life. And then you get a whole entire description. I haven't read every page, but a lot of the symbolism does get explained, which is so nice. And then there's a small thing for reversals as well for each card. In the back, you do get some information about the artist, but you do also get some spreads. So there's the lightning bolt spread to catalyze a creative project, the Starman spread to illuminate your radiant potential. And let's see if there's one more. There isn't. But yeah, it's cool. Those are neat spreads, actually. I'm excited to use those. So I'm going to flip through the deck here, and then we're going to pick a card and read about it. So from what I gathered here, this deck was created after David Bowie died. This would have been yesterday would have been his 78th birthday. So he's been dead for almost 10 years. It's been 9 years. And I know that not just because I'm a huge fan, but I was also hired at my new job back then, the day after. And I was really emotional, and I had to go to work because it was my first day at a new job. So my anniversary at this job is also anyway, it's a quick way to remember because they email me every year, oh, happy anniversary. I'm like, no. Anyways. Back to the cards. That's what we're here for. All right. So I'm gonna try to do better than yesterday. I also zoomed in way too much yesterday, and so I was like picking up cards and you were only seeing like half of them, and it was just silly. Anyways, so here we go we have the Sacred Crown. Wow. Sacred Clown. And this is our Fool. It's a renamed Fool. So the symbolism is obviously a little bit different here, but he is about to be absorbed sort of by this sun, and there's traps everywhere, and some of these traps have like little lures to try to maybe get him to stick his hand in there. There's a diamond. What I love the most about these cards, this is the Starman, which is a replacement for the Magician. But one of the things I love so much about these cards is, first of all, they are filled with details, and just there's so much to each image, and you can really, well, I can feel the energy and the vibration, and sometimes sound is brought to me when I look at this. Like with this, I can sort of hear the static of all this lightning down here. It's just fantastic to look at. Plus, he's on almost every card, which is neat. So here we have the High Priestess, and there's a lot of cards that are almost monochromatic. Like obviously we've got other colors aside from green, but green is very much what you see at first, which I love for the High Priestess. It's very nice. Here we have the Empress. Again, we've got a vivid, almost monotone with the pink, and then this incredible orange yellow. The Emperor. He looks great. Apologies if things look a touch different in this moment. I did have to pause the recording because my entire camera decided to just fall over, which was great. Nothing got hurt. That's the good news here. So here we have the Hierophant. So I have now used this deck yesterday as well as today. The Lovers. The first thing I did with it yesterday was finally do an interview, and it was nice. And then this morning I used it for my daily card pull, and it was just so gentle. Despite the chaos of some of these images, it was such a gentle, like lovely reading. It was nice. So this is the Chariot. I struggle with the Chariot card because this is the card for Cancer, which is what I am. And I don't usually like the Chariot card. Almost ever. I think the Aphrodite Tarot is the only time I was ever like, yeah, wow, what a pretty chariot. Here we have Strength. Lovely. And the Alien instead of the Hermit, which I really like. I love this cave. I love the mirrored image of these cave. It's the same is what I'm trying to say. And again, there's all these like little things in here. Like here we have a wishbone or a stang. I'm not sure. But again, that's the nice thing here because it could be either or a third option. Who knows? It's whatever you want as the interpreter. There's a couple of books, and then there's a tiny blue cube here, which is very much like Pandora's box. I don't know if any of you have seen Mulholland Drive, but that's what I think of immediately, where she sticks the key in the Pandora's box and turns the whole movie upside down. Wild. David Lynch, I'm telling you, he's a genius. All right, and here we have our wheel. I really like this card. Usually the Wheel of Fortune is not super exciting, but I like this one. There's a lot going on. There's sort of like a clock here. There's a whole bunch of David faces. This is him directly from The Man Who Fell to Earth. This is his alien face when he reveals his true self. Here is the Justice card. It's really cool. I've never seen a Justice look anything like this. I love that she has space buttons. Doesn't contribute to the meaning of the card. I just like it a lot. Here we have the Hangman, which is probably the most subdued card in the whole deck, but I really like it. I like that he's got this anchor sort of holding him down, but he's still able to keep this hat on. I don't know, there's lots of interesting things in this image. Somebody's sort of falling out of the sky here. It's almost towerish with all this lightning. I don't know, super neat. Here we have Death. So when I first saw this card, I was staring at it good and long because it's so haunting. It's so beautiful. There's sort of death with the skull, life with the flower, and this sort of fetus. There's lots of fetuses in this deck. Also, some of these cards are going to be a touch violent or graphic. There's a little bit of nudity, which we've already seen with the Lover's card. Here we have Temperance. There's no sort of traditional imagery with the cups, but we have David Bowie here, and this is very 90s David, sort of like Earthling era. And then we've got, again, sort of Man Who Fell to Earth David, which is 1976 David Bowie, and this is more like 1996 Bowie. I have a lot of fan knowledge, guys. I have to put it somewhere, so bear with me. This is the Devil, and I love this card for so many reasons. Reason number one is this is him from the Rebel Rebel music video from 1974. It's the iconic pirate costume. I mean, it's sort of colored in, but in the music video, it's a pirate costume. And that was the song that really, really sold me on him and started my lifelong obsession. So I love these sort of like void branches, these solid black branches growing out of him. I love these two dogs. It's very Diamond Dogs, which is an album. One of my favorites, arguably. It's just a really cool card for the Devil. Here we have the Tower. There's lots going on. We have an exploding planet. The Tower, of course, itself is in trouble here, on fire. There's lightning up there, comets, people falling, an astronaut. It's really cool, and we've got some sort of an alien down here, which I love. I love the amount of aliens that are in this deck. There's usually one on every card. Even if they're teeny tiny, you just have to look, and you're going to find one. Here we have the Star, which is another beautiful card. Very, very different for a star card, I find. I love that there's these weird hands coming out of the water, shooting lightning up. There's like columns of galaxy here. It's pretty neat. Here we have the Moon, which is another strange card. There's a lot going on here. I love it. I love these symbols. Okay, these characters up here. I love his face in the moon. Closed eyes down here. It's really cool. I love the way the water's done. This is the Sun, and I love this card. It radiates heat, and you can hear the fire. I love this. Now, I'm not sure what's going on in this sketch because it really is too small to sort of read. But it says here, context of world or reality. I can't read that. But my first thought was this sort of looks like Hollow Earth. I don't know, though. That would be pretty darn cool, though, if it was a reference to that, because that is a fun theory. I can't say it enough. I'm sorry. I love it. Okay, here we have Judgment. It's a pretty cool Judgment card. Yesterday when I was looking at this card, I didn't see this, but now I see it sort of clear as day. This is like the skull of a deer or a moose, a stag, and then there's antlers. Every single time I look at this, so you can see the eyes, there's the nose. Every time I look at this deck, I see something I didn't see the last time. I love that. There's so much buried in here, so much symbolism. And then finally we have the World, which is another cool card. This is a recurring theme in the deck where you see an eye, but there's no whites to the eye. It's on a lot of cards as well, and I really like it because at first glance it doesn't look like an eye, and then you realize, oh, that must be what that is. But it's weird to you because you don't see the whites. Okay, so here we are starting with the Pentacles. This is a really cool card for the Ace. It says Awaken up here, and it's mirrored, so you can't really read it at first. You have to sort of look really hard. We've got a figure underground. This is above ground here where the grass is growing, below ground. So there's a figure where the tree is growing out of. You've got this wild cat person in a cloud, some books, a pentacle down here, and then there's an egg here and here. And if you look closely, you can see that there's a figure inside each egg. Here we have the Two of Pentacles, which is a really funny card to me. I'm sorry. I know it's not supposed to be, but these whiskers, I can't take it seriously. It's the only card in the deck that makes me chuckle like this because I can't take these whiskers serious. And in the guidebook, maybe there's an explanation, but for now, it's just a funny thing to me. Sorry. Here we have the Three of Pentacles, which is a nice card. There is the three figures. There's this one up here, and then there's two down in here. You've got a spider, a gold spider on a gold labyrinth. Some fun shapes here. And then there's an alien of some sort, maybe here. I don't know. Here we have the Four of Pentacles, which is a very interesting card because you don't really see too much hoarding the wealth. I mean, he is standing on one of them, but then there's one sort of cast off to the side, and then these two are maybe hoarding the knowledge of how to get wealth because it's in their heads. I don't know. This would be an interesting one to just proactively look up. I like this Five of Pentacles a lot because it is sort of split by this black line because everything above the line is very lush, very full, which speaks to sort of wealth. And then these guys down here are sort of coming apart. Like they don't seem to be solid. They're just ripping apart at the seams because their life is just so unfortunate. You've got a garbage pail here. There's garbage all around them. This is a dead bug. If you can tell, it's on its back. Bones of an old creature. But see, even here, there's some life growing. They just have to turn around and see it. Or just look over this fence, and there is hope on the other side. Here we have the Six of Pentacles, which is very interesting for celebration. Another one that would be really interesting to just proactively read from the guidebook, but I'd like to try to pick a card at random for this video anyway. Here we have our sevens. He's just working along, trying to have some patience perhaps to grow everything, take care of everything. We've got a crystal palace in the sky, which is an interesting choice. I guess he's working his way up. Oh my God, it's like a beanstalk back here. Neat. Here we have the Eight. Another one where the meaning is not super obvious. It sort of feels like this is maybe a godlike creature checking on his different universes that he's created. That's my first thought anyway. Could be totally wrong. The Nine of Pentacles. Just enjoying the wealth. There's some golden nuggets down here. She's got a ghost of some sort. Sorry, camera jiggle. There's a bunny. She's got some sort of high fashion skirt. Grapes. Grapes, that is classic. That is classic symbolism right there. Here we have our 10. Sorry, I don't want to show card spoilers there. But here we have our 10. So this is usually generational wealth, family, ancestors. So you've got a little family here. There's Dave. All right, so the princesses in this deck are among my favorite cards for sure. So we don't have the typical page and knight. We have the princess, the prince, king, and queen. So it's, I saw in the guidebook that the princess is young feminine energy, the queen is mature feminine energy, leaving the prince as young masculine energy, and the king as mature older masculine energy is one of the main differences there. So here we have our princess. She is pregnant. Her face does remind me of Harlequin because of the paint. I do love that she's sort of in this dark area, but she could climb this beanstalk and hold up. We saw a beanstalk in our 7. So this is interesting. Maybe this is the same beanstalk that we're seeing here. And she's down in behind this mountain inside some sort of cave. And these are the beanstalks. That is so cool. See? Every time. Anyways. Here is our Prince of Pentacles. So this is the only one that sort of has a throwback to classic with a horse in the image. All the other ones do not have horses. But here we have our prince, and he does have a mechanical horse standing on some tree trunks inside a watery cave. Here's our Queen of Pentacles. So she is so cool. Her dress is made of vegetation, tree trunks, sticks, but she's not stuck to the ground. Her feet are right here. She's doing some sort of work with this seed, giving it life, making it grow. I don't know. She looks like she's in some sort of a grove, because the exit's very clearly here. There's black sky there. That's how I read it anyway. I love the little pumpkin. It's just a cute little cozy nod. And then here we have our King of Pentacles, who is up in the air. And he just looks great. I have so many decks that are just full of women, and that's great. It's great to have that. But sometimes I do like to see men in my decks, and this is a great one that has masculine energy all over it. There's men on a lot of cards, which I feel is a little bit rare. So here we have our Ace of Swords. So this is almost like a prototype sword. It's you couldn't hurt anybody with this, because it's sort of, you could hurt them, but you know what I mean? It's not like steel. It's rock, maybe bone. I don't know, but it's sort of like the beginnings of a sword. Here we have our 2, and this is a really neat card because she is very divided. Quite literally divided. This is almost like the more emotional side because of the rain and the clam. And then this, I guess, is meant to represent the intellectual side, but like, do snakes represent that? I'm not sure, but it's, I mean, I guess they do represent change. I don't know. So it's interesting. And then she's got 2 staircases. So it's a cool card. Here we have our 3 of Swords, nowhere near traditional at all. For those of you who hate the classic, heart with the swords, we have a guy here who's not doing great. So I guess he's sort of the main focus of the card in terms of who is sad. There's an interesting sort of alien fetus through this portal here. We do have that heart, and there is sort of paint dripping down, but it's not classic at all. There's no stabbed heart, nothing. Heart here too. Here we have the 4 of Swords. This is the most David of all the David images, because it's literally just the Aladdin Sane cover with a body now attached to it. Rest, meditation, it's very clear. 5 of Swords, winning, but at what cost? So this person is being stabbed or about to be stabbed, and they're sort of turning into dust, I guess. They're already disintegrating. Here's perhaps more foes down here, skeletons. 6 of Swords. He's on a gold boat on a gold river about to go into a gold hole. So hopefully he notices in time. Who knows? I'm not sure what's going on with this mask, but I think that's where his attention is, so he might miss that there's a hole here. 7 of Swords, trickery and deception. So we have our guy here. He is stealing from this box. Not nice. Okay, the Eight of Swords. I absolutely love this card. It's so beautiful, and I find it to be very different from the rest of the deck because it's got this dark, smoky purple that's not really common throughout the rest of the deck. Nine of Swords. There's a little witch in the background, which is fantastic. I've never noticed that before. She's got a voodoo doll. She's sort of coming apart down here, cracking like she's a doll or something. It's great. The Ten of Swords is really interesting because it's not super obvious what's happening here. I love that there's a library up here, which is very Akashic Records, but I don't know if that's actually what it's supposed to be. And if it is, what does that have to do with the Ten of Swords? I mean, I suppose when you die, you get to look at the Akashic Records, perhaps. So maybe this is like sort of a spin on this. Yes, sure, you're dead, you're not doing great. But maybe that this change, this devastating change, is going to lead to higher knowledge. I don't know. Princess of Swords. So she's brave. She's way up in the sky on a beam. We've got some mirroring of the imagery at the top there. There is a figure right there, and then two faces on either side. This too, I know it's a building, but it looks like a face as well. Really interesting card. They all are. Okay, so this is the card I was thinking about when I was giving a warning earlier. This is a little bit brutal. To me, this reminds me of what he wore on stage during the Ziggy Stardust motion picture when he was singing Rock and Roll Suicide during the encore. That's what I think of immediately is that particular outfit. So what's carved into his chest here is no rules, no future, victory, which is very interesting. In the very, very back here, I believe that's Jesus. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a pretty cool card. Here's our Queen of Swords. Very pretty. And this face up here is very scary, I find. It's very scary. And then here we have our King of Swords. And this king reminds me heavily of Jeff Goldblum. Do you see it? I see it. Wands. This is a very fiery card, as it should be. It's very nice. Two of Wands. The journey is being planned. Three of Wands. Very cool. There's some mirroring again here. He's going to start his journey. Four of Wands. Super pretty. Five of Wands, which is competition. So you can see there's sort of two rival species fighting each other. There's even two snakes down here having a battle. I really love that detail. I think it's adorable. I don't know if the artist was shooting for adorable, but that's the word I'm going with. Six of Wands, victory. 7. 8. I love this 8. I can hear them speeding towards this portal, and I like it a lot. So the 8 is usually speed and momentum, but it's also spiritual messaging, and you sort of get both, because to me, you can see the speed that they're about to have going towards this portal, and going through that portal, they are, in my mind anyway, delivering a message of some sort. Because isn't that why you go through portals? I don't know. Here we have our 9 of Wands. And I love all these little people down here. I didn't notice them at first, but yesterday flipping through this, I was like, oh my God, there's people. There's people. 10 of Wands. This is a wonderful card. You can see the overwhelm everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's overwhelm. He's got chains. He's falling apart. These wands are stabbing him. There's something dead and creepy crouched in the dark, maybe chasing him. We've got faces up here. Yes, it's David Bowie, but these are not looking friendly. I know it's his face taken directly from the Diamond Dogs cover, but it's a little ominous, right? And he's got mummy wrappings. Like, he's very injured. This poor thing. This is my favorite princess in the whole deck. This is very Ariel, Nicole Kidman in Moulin Rouge. I think she's beautiful, ethereal. I love her. She's amazing. This is the greatest Princess of Wands, Page of Wands, whatever you want to call it. I think she's amazing. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. This card, every time I see it, it reminds me of somebody that I used to know. So it's a little bit hard to see this Prince of Wands, and we're going to move on real quick. Here we have our Queen, which I love because so much traditional symmetry. I need to go to bed. So much traditional symbolism is here. We've got the black cats and her sunflower and just the overall energy she exudes. I love these incredible sort of platforms that she's on, her shoes. There's a little salamander here to represent the fire. And then here we have the King of Wands. He's pretty cool. Very down to earth. Like, he's not really dressed in refinery or anything like that. He's standing as opposed to sitting on a throne like some of our previous kings. He's seemingly sort of giving life to this alien fetus with the wand here and the lightning. And I love the blue lightning so much. And here I saved my favorite suit for the very last. I love the cups. I think they're my favorite suit for sure. 2 of Cups. Lovely card. 3 of Cups. We've got our celebration. There's hands here sort of presenting the cups with all of this light, fire, gold, like melted gold, it looks like to me. Here we have the 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups, 6, 7. Choices, but beware. 8 of Cups. Oh, the dissatisfaction. 9. Oh, the satisfaction. It's been found. And then here we have the 10 of Cups. Yay, love and family. Princess of Cups. This is my second favorite princess. I think she's wicked cool. And I noticed that she's got sort of the Lazarus wraps on her eye. Like, these are not buttons, but it's the same sort of wrapping. I don't know. Wonderful card. And then here we have the Prince of Cups. Queen of Cups, which is my significator card. I always check this card out before I buy a deck. And if I love the Queen of Cups, then the deck is mine. And usually most artists do a good job on the Queen of Cups. It's a very rare day. I shouldn't say I buy every deck that has a good queen, because that's not true. It's just the ones that really scream at me. And this is certainly one of them. I love that you've got Thoth here in the corner. And then here we have our king. So again, another super interesting card. And that brings us to the end of our flip through. So what I want to do, I'm not going to do any pairings because I don't think that this deck needs to be paired. I mean, you do what you want, right? But for me, this is a very standalone deck. And other than maybe, because I was pulling our Oracle card or 2 in the day. So other than doing that, I wouldn't necessarily pair this with anything because I think there's just so much symbolism in these cards that you don't need to add anything further. So shuffling this is tricky because they are so long, and as I mentioned in the previous video, I don't know much about cardstock. It is bendy, and it does go back, you know, to what it was at. And you could riffle shuffle, but it's very hard to do. So I just like to overhand. It's a little bit slippery. I like to just overhand. Usually when I get a deck, and it needs to be shuffled, I'll do sort of like 4 piles, just like that, like I'm dealing, you know, a hand, and then I will shuffle each pile and then shuffle them all together, and that usually gets a pretty good base for shuffling, but I'm not going to do that in this moment because this is a video and you guys don't want to watch me deal forever, you know, in the spirit of not wanting to cut. Oh my god, I keep hitting my camera. What a noob! As I mentioned yesterday, I did do a recording here. I drew the alien card yesterday, and that's what I read. And I really liked the description, so I would like to just read that to you. I don't think anybody really truly minds, but I thought it was nice. So here we have our alien as a replacement for the hermit. So, I bring back knowledge from distant places. In the Starman Tarot, the alien replaces the hermit card, which traditionally invites the receiver to turn their attention inwards, in the act of contemplation and inquiry, to retreat from life and ask the big questions. The alien is different. He arrives from the void with ideas, wisdoms, and technologies, a translucent presence glowing with the sacred geometries and universal pattern of the flower of life. In culture, the figure of the alien has moved away from cults into the mainstream of popular culture. Their symbolism continually evolves, often a repository for the fears and phobias of a segmented and disconnected population. It is easier to jack into the fantasy world of cyber culture rather than to talk to our neighbors or families about anything of meaning. Overwhelmed with information and content, we aren't able to distinguish truth from falsehood, verify the source, and understand the context in which it arose. We feel confused, disempowered, and a nagging sense of alienation. In a world where distance or remoteness enables and creates space for imaginary lives, snapshots of the good life, all glowing smiles, it can be easy to feel estranged, different, and not part of the gang. We simply don't belong. This alien, though, is here to lead you back home to yourself. The alien, the outsider, the rebel, the stranger, the one you have feared yet also secretly desired, is here to remind you that you are perfect as you are, beneath the mask of cruel imperfection. He represents your own hidden or lost wonder and miraculous powers, the parts of you that have become alien to you. In the difficulties of life, the learning, the rules, and the consequences of family, school, work, and relationships, parts of ourselves must remain hidden, suppressed, denied. Parts of the whole remain hidden and unknown. The alien signals your urge for freedom. Naked, untainted, there are no masks. There is no great cover-up. He catalyzes self-discovery and ignites the drive to question, challenge, and dissolve the walls that box us in. There is remembering, the semblance of something more astonishing, more beautiful, and utterly miraculous surfacing, the rekindling of dreams, new possibilities, new worlds. He invites you to weave your earthly wisdom into new forms and expressions that have never existed before. He lifts you way above what you thought was possible, way beyond what you thought was you, lifting you out of your personality and its defenses and placing you back into yourself, whole and complete. The alien who carries spectacular visions and wonders must always seek a way home to the stars, a light from afar, being in this world but not of it, reminding you that you are always, no matter what, on a journey back home to the light. The keywords are know your worth, you are perfect the way you are, be free, seek answers within you, go deeper and understand more of the universe. Take the time to do something you've never done before. Reversed, it's quick. It is time to come in from the cold and engage with the world, putting your insights to work. Having shut yourself away, believing yourself to be powerless, dislocated, and at odds with society, it's time to make your way back into the garden of reality, bearing your gifts. There is much that needs transforming in every domain to take your pick and set to work, bringing new possibilities and realms of being. Stop hiding. Step out of your hibernation and engage with others. Help those around you transform. Bring your ideas into the world. So, very in-depth, very sort of long, and just lovely to read. Just to sort of show you some of these cards, what they would maybe look like in a reading here. Obviously not shuffled super well. We have all majors. But, you know, just to get a feel for what they sort of look like together. If you were to do any sort of reading here, you can see that, oh my God, another major. So that is our Starman Tarot. I love it very much, and I will continue to use it into tomorrow, which is, of course, the anniversary for David Bowie's death. So that's what I do every year. You know, since I've been a fan, since I was very young, I used to just do a David Bowie celebration for his birthday, which consisted of just consuming his work, the movies, music, just, you know, having, sorry, Jareth, having my own just like Bowie-a-thon by myself. But since he died so very close to his birthday, I do turn this into an entire 3-day event. Again, celebrated by myself because, you know, it's a weird thing to do. Even I can admit that. So I've just been streaming his music all day. And I'm gonna watch some movies tomorrow probably. So there you have it, gang. What do you think? Do you have this deck? Do you want this deck? I love it very much. And I'm undecided if I'm gonna use it throughout the year or if this truly is just for these 3 days in the year. Not because I don't want to use it every day. It feels so special. It feels like I should just save it for when I am celebrating this incredible man. Anyway, good night. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. Tell me what you think. And if you're a Bowie fan, also let me know. That would be cool. Bye.